Appreciate y'all coming here. We were talking baseball, but it's easy segue into softball.
Yeah.
Start underhand.
What's that?
Start underhand.
Well,
At least
they
start
they throw it overhand.
There's only one.
I can't hit
Yeah, it's
the
had to
fast
start
pitch
big
underhand.
games.
You tried?
I've tried. It's not great. It's not.
Someone's pitched to you?
Yeah, but not like to the level that y'all are
Okay.
at, right? So like I still struggle with it. I was never good at submarine guys, so I can't imagine I'd be very good at hitting softball. But y'all are very good. Y'all were 24-0 to start the season. Obviously, a little hiccup this weekend that happens. How exciting has the start of the season been for y'all? One, and two, how do you rebound after you have that high of like, we're 24-0, and I can't say that's never happened because I think it's happened like one time, right? Oklahoma went undefeated.
Yeah.
Did
Did they go undefeated?
they go undefeated, Lloyd?
I think they lost one game.
I would defer to them as the experts on
Yeah,
this.
maybe they lost. Okay, well, nobody's going undefeated. At least that I know of, right? So it's not very likely to have. You start off 2-0, then you go home, and you have a little. So how do you rebound from that after such a promising or great start to the season?
Yeah, I think starting off with how we started the season, I think it was definitely, it's an incredible way to start a season. Going 24-0, I think it definitely brought a lot of confidence to us. Just our results just showed us what we are capable of, and, we showed a lot of people what we're capable of. And then, like you said, like this little hiccup, I just think we just have to go back to the drawing board and get back to what we're working on and continue to just build off our strengths and continue just to play LSU softball and get back up again.
What was Coach Trina's message after that? That you can say.
After the first one, it wasn't that bad, but after the second one,
Yeah, it wasn't great.
it was worse. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's okay. Sometimes you need that.
I think we did need that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
She
Yeah.
kind of saw it in a positive light in a way. She kind of took more of a positive approach about it with the first one, at least, of just like not having that pressure anymore of being the only undefeated team this year, and just like being able to just go back to playing us, being big and free, and not having that pressure of, okay, we got to keep that undefeated record. And so she kind of went with that approach, but obviously with the second loss.
I'm glad you brought that up because being at such a prominent university, right? Like LSU's known everywhere, even in softball everywhere. When you have such a good start to the season and then you lose a couple games in a row, which kind of is unexpected, it's expected, right? Like it's going to happen at some point. Is there conversation that creeps in about peaking too early, or is that something you kind of try to stay away from and it's really about the work that needs to be done?
I feel like she always said one pitch at a time. We didn't really focus on how many games we won at once. It was just like win this pitch, win the next game. Like we took it one game at a time, so we didn't really look back on it. But social media is everywhere, so it's hard to miss it.
Right.
So we were just trying to steer clear of all of that.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking on Kiki, like she'd always, no matter.
Kiki.
Oh, yeah.
That's the nickname?
Oh.
It's the nickname.
It's the
Kiki.
nickname.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
But yeah, like she said with the social media stuff, like from day one, Coach always told us just to stay off of it. Not everyone's gonna have nice. It's not easy. It really isn't. But not everyone's gonna have nice things to say about you. And even when we were doing so good and when we were still undefeated, still to keep clear of the social media because a lot of people have a lot of opinions. So I think we did a pretty good job of that. And yeah.
Doesn't get much easier, right? Y'all got Missouri this weekend. They're ranked 11th, I think, in the country. So you don't have really time. Baseball and softball, you play a lot of games, so you don't really have time to, hey, we have a whole week of practice, or we have this. You got to go right back into the next game. So as far as players, right, y'all are around each other all the time. What's the message amongst y'all moving from, okay, we lost this series, now we got to go and rebound against the top 15 team in the country, so we don't let this thing snowball? Is there a different message from the girls on the team as opposed to coming down from the coaches?
I think the message is pretty similar. It's just the way it comes out maybe comes out differently. With the girls, I know today was talked about a lot from coaching staff and to the players of just going back to that mentality of, regardless of who's in the other dugout, we're going to stick with LSU softball and we're going to do stick to our process of what's been working because, I mean, we did go 24-0, so, like, our process was working and does work, so we're just going to stick back and trust that process that we were sticking with from the start and going back to that mentality of, you know, regardless of who's in the other dugout, we're going to go hunting for them rather than being hunted by the other team.
I also feel like, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, it's great.
Like, we have to play like it's our first game again. So, like, the first game of the season, we all just wanted to win.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to start off
Right.
on a loss. But after we lost, our coach was like, just start a new streak.
Yep.
So, I just feel like we all have that mentality of, like, going 24-0
Yeah.
again.
So, you've been here for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
You are a rookie,
Yep.
right? Good teams always have a combination of it all, right? You have the seniors, you have the juniors, and the sophomores and the juniors, and you got the newcomers who make big impacts. Obviously, you make a big impact. Who are some of the other girls that maybe people aren't super familiar with, but they kind of make the team go, right? People that they should kind of keep an eye on outside of just y'all two, right? Like pump up your girls.
We have
I
a
would
freshman. She's a third baseman, second baseman. She's my roommate, Ciara Daniel. I swear she never gets out. She starts every game. She never gets out. I think she's one of the best fielders I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think she's made the biggest impact on our team, personally.
I think Sydney Burzon. I mean, her on the mound is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all counting down the days where we didn't have to face her in scrimmages anymore because we just hate hitting off of her, and we just want other people to have to deal with her insane pitches. But she's just, I mean, every time she goes on the mound, like, it just gives us a different type of confidence, and she's starting to step out of her comfort zone a little bit and speak more out of her comfort zone, so I think it definitely helps. And, like, when she says something, everyone hears it, and I think it's made a huge impact for sure.
Well, for both of y'all, who's been it's kind of along the same lines, but who's been the one player, if you will, that people probably didn't look for to have as much of an impact as they've had this year, and they've steadily just showed up day in and day out and have played really well? In y'all minds, who's the person on the team that you think kind of embodies that?
I have a couple people that come to mind, but the first one is Raylene Gutierrez. I mean, she's worked so hard day in and day out with many things, with defense, hitting, even like her diet of gaining weight. That was one of her big goals, and she's done that, and it's made a huge difference in her offensive this year. But she's just incredible. I mean, defensively, she's always someone you can trust. I mean, I don't think she's missed one ball at first base, and, like, she's saved so many plays. But yeah, I think she's stepped up big this year.
Me, I know everyone knows who Taylor Pleasance is, but she's like the greatest fielder I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And I'm a shortstop, so I play behind her, and it's just, she has taught me a lot throughout the year, and she's someone that can literally just get our team going by one swing or fielding the most insane ball we've ever seen in our life. So I just feel like she gets our team going just by example, honestly. Like, she's just incredible.
How's your adjustment been? Like the jump from high school to the jump to high level Division I softball, right? Like, I know how the jump is for baseball or football. I mean, he knows it for football. I don't. But, different sports. But, I don't think people realize how big that jump is from, playing from in high school level to high level D1.
Well, my high school, I was blessed. We were very
I see
good
that.
in high school.
Yes.
We had like an 83-game win streak, so like winning streaks are just.
Oh, so
that's
you
part of you.
That's
part of you.
I see what's
Okay.
going on.
I love
You just brought
that.
it here. Okay.
So I just was in a winning atmosphere everywhere, like travel ball, school ball. So it's just kind of been the same in that aspect, but like my role is definitely different this year as a freshman. So I'm just being a good teammate.
Like for us, in high school, you may see one guy throw 94, right? But then you get to college and you have 15 guys throwing, 94 miles an hour. I imagine it's kind of similar on the softball side. Like, hey, you may face a girl in our district, whatever, that's throwing pretty nasty. But I feel like every starter you're facing now in the SEC is kind of that way.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I got here. I was facing 68, like once a summer maybe.
Right.
And I was like, wow, everyone throws 68 when
Yeah.
I get here. It's crazy. Like, it doesn't even look like 68 to me anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Did you know you are the first person in the history of NCAA
She knows.
to have two consecutive Gold Gloves? Do you know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's impressive. The first ever. Nobody's ever done that. You're the only person. There's a record books and there's your name and nobody else underneath it. That's
I
got to
did
be
a lot
pretty
of
cool.
scrolling in this accomplishment list.
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
I couldn't.
An end,
That's
so-
why you have an intro, because I was too long to read for both of you.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't know that at first, and then a couple people told me, but I think it's definitely super cool to know that you're the first of something, and I'm very proud of it. And yeah.
How much pride do you put into your defense? Because when everybody thinks about softball or baseball, I think offense, right? Offense. I think the defensive side gets overlooked. Obviously, you're elite because you have 2 straight Gold Gloves in college softball. So how much pride do you put into what do you do differently than some of the other people out there in center field or defensively in general?
I definitely expect a lot for myself. I mean, I've always been like that growing up, being the youngest of 4. So I come from a very competitive family, so I've always just expected a lot from myself. But I definitely take pride in my work in the outfield. I mean, personally for me, a lot of people would choose offense over defense, but for me, I've always chose defense over offense.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love defense.
You'd rather make a diving catch than hit a homer? Or rob a home run than hit a homer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but defense is on top of offense for me. But I don't know. I just try to do my own thing, and I try to just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just
You just go get it. See it and you get it. Just go get it.
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
I try to have that mindset of just not letting anything.
Well, I
touch the
think
grass, but-
I think defense is a lot of being a really good defender is that, right? Especially as an outfielder. I was a center fielder. He was a center fielder. Like, as an outfielder, if you just have the mindset, I'm just going to get it. Like, doesn't matter where it's at. I'm going to go and get it. Like, there's not a ball I can't get to. I think that takes you from, hey, I'm okay, to I'm elite because there's nothing you don't think you can go get. So I understand what you're saying is it's hard to explain it if someone has never really experienced it, but I know exactly what you're saying. Like, you just have that mentality of I'm just going to get everything.
Yeah, and there's been, I mean, my freshman year, I was like, obviously freshman year, kind of nervous, and like, that was definitely me. I definitely had to get out of my comfort zone, and I had to have a talk with coach, and she actually told me, like, I need you to be more aggressive to the point where we have to hold you back, because that's much easier to do rather than to have you go more and be more aggressive. So, I mean, I did make that big jump, and I think a lot of people overlook, like, just the small details of it all. I mean, like, even the small details of, like, whenever we're finished with weights, we all go take live reps, and just like taking that live rep off the bat like makes a huge impact on your first step or seeing the ball off the bat, and those little things like really do help in the long run for a game.
With all the success that you've had at this level, how often do you find yourself in the role of, I don't know, people coming up to you asking for little tidbits and advice, you know, like even the ones that have won 84 games straight? I'm sure there's things that your teammates are trying to learn from you because of what you've been able to do at this level.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a great job. The freshmen and the chancellor have done a great job just coming in, and like, it's a lot to take on at once, and there's a lot to learn, but they've done a great job of just adjusting to how we do things here, and I just try to lead by example as best I can, and if they have any questions, I'm always open and free to answer. And, you know, I have little girls like DMing me like slapping questions or something like that, and I love that, and I do want to coach one day. So I mean, I love coaching, and I love being able to be a good role model for little girls playing softball and wanting to play at the college level. So anything I can do to help them, I would like to do it. Yeah.
What about LSU brought y'all both here? You know, there's a lot of really good softball schools around the country, probably more so than most of the other sports, right? Most of the other sports you feel like are in one specific region. College baseball, you feel like SEC college baseball, like it's not as competitive outside of the SEC. I mean, there's good teams, but it all comes from here in the SEC. Softball is that way, but you also have people, you know, Oklahoma's really good. You have people on the West, teams on the West Coast and the East Coast that are really good. Feels like it's a little bit more spread out. So what about LSU drew y'all here?
I was actually choosing between 3 SEC schools,
There
so
you
I
go.
really wanted to go to the SEC, but The other two I was choosing between, one was 8 hours away, one was a flight away. So
Yeah.
I live
Location.
in Houston, so I wanted my parents to be able to come to games whenever they wanted, and I loved the atmosphere, everything about LSU, the fans, everything, and the coaches. So I just really
Yeah.
loved it here when I came on my visit.
See, I didn't want to, like,
Okay.
LSU wasn't even on my top 5.
Wow, this is
when
great.
I
This
was
is great. I'm
recruiting.
glad I asked the question.
But I was, like, pretty determined on what school I wanted to go to. And I had taken it was, like, my 3rd or 4th camp I had gone there. And I was like, okay, I want to cut my options down. I want to go here. I don't want to look anywhere else. And then they were like, well, you have a flight next week for LSU. You're taking unofficial. I was like, okay. So before I got here, I told myself I was going to hate everything about it. Like, I'm like, why would I want to go way over there?
Yeah.
And then I came here, and I just fell in love with the atmosphere, like Kiki talked about, and just the coaches, they're incredible. And, like, me being from California, I really wanted to make sure, like, it was a family atmosphere, and, like, it really is. Like, all 26 of us are, like, so close, and I just love that, having a second family, being so far away from home, and just I love how everyone is all about LSU. Like,
Yeah.
anywhere you go in Baton Rouge, like, they're all about LSU, and I just love that, and I like she said, like, the SEC, I mean, it's the best of the best, and I wanted to compete against the best. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to wear LSU across your chest?
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, we're happy. I know LSU fans are happy. Softball team's probably very happy that y'all got here, so I appreciate that.
Of course. What makes this team in your time here stand out among the other teams you've played on here?
I think, one, how close we are. We definitely take the time to, like, build the relationships off the field, because it's super important just being on the field. When you have those relationships off the field and they're so close and you have that trust and comfortability with each other, it just blends in right on the field. And I think, too, like, having so many veterans, too, who've been here does make a difference. I mean, we have 7 or 8 seniors. So, I mean, I think that definitely makes a difference. But I think it's so cool that we can all gel together and you wouldn't be able to know. Like, I probably hang out with the freshmen more than I do, like, the seniors.
yeah.
And I think that's so cool. Like, the age gap doesn't really matter. I think it's super cool. Like, we all have our different connections with each other, and I think it's super cool.
Yeah, that's what all the best teams have, right? You have the chemistry from the new guys or girls on the team, and from the old veterans, right? You have the ones you have in between, and everybody seems to kind of gel together, right? And so that's kind of what the best teams do, and it seems like y'all are doing the same thing. Speaking of gelling and speaking of bringing people together, y'all are here. Part of the reason why y'all are here, one, because y'all are awesome and y'all are winning a bunch of games and people need to know about it. But the other reason is because one of our sponsors, one of our partners, is also one of your partners, and that's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And so he has signed y'all to NIL deals. How has it been for y'all being able to experience the NIL world, which is wild, and then getting to partner with Gordon and his team, and based off of everything that you've seen, the kind of guy he is, what he brings to the athletes, how cool has it been, and what have you learned from y'all's partnership with Gordon?
NIL is really new to me, obviously. Like, I'm a freshman, but when I got here in the summer, I went to a dinner with him and Gavin after they won. So he was just so nice.
Gavin Kidre
Yes.
is your boyfriend.
Yes,
Can I announce that? I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a secret thing or something. You said Gavin a couple times, so I just assumed I had the green light to just say it. So, all right, go ahead.
She's
sorry.
taken.
But his family was all there. It was so awesome to just see all of them together with their athletes, because it was all the baseball team
Right.
who was signed with him that won. And it was just awesome because his family was so welcoming. His wife came up to me and was like, "You just moved here. If you ever need anything, just call me. I'll give you my number." And I was like, this is someone I would really want an NIL deal with. He's just awesome. I see his billboards everywhere. I really wanted to be on a billboard, and I am. So
there you go.
It's awesome.
There you go.
So I really like it.
Gordon's making dreams come true.
Yeah, I think he's, like she said, I've only met him once, but I mean, I remember just being super nervous before, and like even as we were talking, and then we started to talk, and like I remember how comfortable I got, and like even he stated like I want this to be a very comfortable setting, like where you feel free and open to share any ideas you have or opinions you have about something, or if something you want to do, like I want you to feel super open and be able to tell me face to face so we can figure things out together. I think that's super cool that he's allowing student athletes to kind of have put a light on things that they wish to have a light on, and I think it's super cool that he's bringing women athletes together as well and sharing a light on women's sports, because I think it's super important, and women athletes do get overlooked, and I think it's getting better, but I think he's doing a great job of bringing it to light for sure.
What I've liked so much about Gordon is he empowers the athletes that he signs to understand the business world, understand the real world. He demands their, give them the like what he's paying for, right? So he does not just give them money just because he wants to give them money and say, hey, here you go. He's actually teaching y'all, what business is. He's teaching y'all. He's saying, hey, whatever idea you have, let us know. Like, no, there's no bad ideas. He's forcing you to think, which I think bodes well for the future of all of his NIL athletes. So we've been very grateful for his support. I know y'all have been very grateful for y'all's support. We appreciate y'all being here. Before I let y'all go, y'all play Missouri this weekend. 2 keys that y'all need to do going into the weekend that y'all are very capable of doing, obviously 24-0, that maybe y'all didn't do last weekend that you need to change and do this weekend to win.
Like I said before, I one pitch at a time, win the pitch. So that would be my number one thing. But also just play for each other. Like, I think the last weekend we were trying to do too much and just try to win the game with one swing of the bat. So I just feel like we need to be calm and play for each other.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, I think last weekend we kind of let outside noise affect our emotions and how we played, and we let that affect us being in the moment of just being one pitch at a time. So I think just putting back our blinders on and, like she said, doing it for each other and just going back to that mentality of going big and going free, and if we swing and miss, who cares? But just going back to playing free and big and remembering to just have fun while we're doing it.
That's the reason I'm glad I haven't let you speak. I thought you're about to butt in there.
No, I was just gonna say it feels like you're almost happy.
He was
that,
I thought he was about to just say something.
I got a couple questions, but I was gonna say it almost feels like you're happy that the burden of losing is kind of gone. Like you don't want to carry that into the NCAA tournament, SEC regional, or anything. It's almost better to get it out the way. It feels like.
Yeah, I think it definitely took off some pressure. I mean, I think you'd hate to admit it, but that did put pressure on us of we still have 0 losses, we can't lose, and that's not a good mentality to have. So I think it definitely did take off that pressure, and we can just go back to being big and free and just doing us.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking for y'all rebounding, going, swinging for the fences, going big, doing everything else you need to do to go out there and get back on the winning track. I have no doubt you're going to do it. I appreciate y'all coming in. Sometimes this place is a little hard to find. Appreciate y'all dealing with all the mess that we have in our new studio. Good luck this weekend, and then we'll have y'all back on at some point in the next couple weeks, next couple months, after y'all go back on another 24-game win streak.
Appreciate
y'all can come back in there. Start the next streak. We appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all for having us.
Anytime. Y'all can just, we're casual. You just, you have to step over wires and stuff to get out of here. But
you gotta do.
We appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
Yep. Thank you. Good luck.